My question is, I am going to Africa. My flight will be in two segments, total 24 hours flying. Are there any shields that I can purchase that will enable me to block the x-rays while on the plane?
Yes, not x-rays, but yes, you can get shielding. You can get hoods. And I have a hood. I have also a thing where my front of the face is open, so you can read and even eat to some extent, but the rest of your head is probably the most sensitive. You can get shirts that are shielded, and they will protect your torso. Oh, by the way, you can also get, and you can get all these things from Less EMF, which I have no commercial relationship with, so I have no conflict of interest here.
How do you spell that?
Just Less EMF, one word. Just Google it. You'll find it. Okay.
Great.
Let me just say something
Thank you
about.
So much.
Yeah, let me just say something about shielding and how it works. Okay. I talked about the issue of coherence when I first started talking. And I believe that these shields, which have little tiny metal fibers in them, basically act by disrupting the coherence of these EMFs, because the EMFs are going to bounce off these little fibers in various directions and they become incoherent as a consequence of that. That's what I think is the main way in which these things work, and there are other shields that you can get as well that probably work similarly.
Thank you for that, Martin, and thank you, Lauren, for that great question. Next, we have Joanna. Joanna, what was your question?
Hi, Martin. Thank you so much for your presentation. You talked a little bit about EHS sensitivity and the increased sensitivity of the calcium ion channels. I'm somebody who suffers from such sensitivity, and I'm wondering if there's anything that I can do to try to reverse some of that sensitivity, how reactive those channels are.
Yeah, okay. I think you got already from at the beginning that nothing I say should be viewed as medical advice. And I just want to emphasize that. Okay, so what can you do to get improvements? I think there are several things that may be helpful. And let me just say, I was actually contacted by someone who's published on this area on EMFs and has found from personal experience that some of the calcium channel blockers actually help. The problem with those, of course, is number one, they have side effects, and number two, they have to be prescribed. So their availability may be zero. But that's one possibility. I believe that one way that you can get improvement is by raising the level of NRF2 in the body. Okay, so NRF2 is a protein that's produced in the cells of the body. It's NRF number 2, no spaces. I published a paper on this with Stephen Levine in 2015. You can get the paper full text at no cost, either off of Google Scholar or PubMed. Just put my name and NRF2 in there and you'll find it, and you can click on it and get the whole thing. So NRF2 is a transcription factor, and it acts to lower oxidative stress by producing a whole series of enzymes that have antioxidant effects. It also lowers inflammation and lowers NF-kappa B, so it lowers that pathway we talked about. Mm-hmm. It lowers the effects of excessive intracellular calcium in a number of situations. And it also improves mitochondrial function, which is another thing that's negatively impacted. I think that a very large number of the health effects, the things that I believe have been discussed in this in this group of talks goes through NRF2. There are many, many health promoting factors that raise the level of NRF2 in our bodies, and that have been discussed by other people in these talks. And so I believe that that's the primary mechanism by which they act, is by raising NRF2. I believe that that's a very useful thing to do for a lot of different things, but including EHS. So anyway, yeah, okay. I guess.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joanna, for that great question. Let's see, we have Benny. Benny, what's your question?
Thank you so much, Doctor. I still think the vax has something to do with the autism, but my question is, I never hold my phone up to my head, but is it bad just holding it in my hand? Do I need to wear a protective glove, or what's the radiation just into my hand?
Well, you're getting you are getting high level radiation in your hand. Your hand is probably less sensitive than a lot of the other parts of your body, but yeah, you're getting it. I mean, it's a real challenge, and but I'd be more concerned about your head than your hand. I mean, you can't, of course, use it on speakerphone. Then it's away from both your head and your hand.
But just carrying it around.
Carrying it around, you get exposed in the body even when it's not on. Yeah. And there's studies that have shown that for example, and the impacts on male fertility, which are substantial. If you carry your phone in your front pocket or clipped to your belt, you have much higher activity than if you put it elsewhere in your body. But on the other hand, if you put it elsewhere in your body, it may affect those things. Like, for instance, you put it in your breast pocket, and your heart can be affected. So it's a huge problem. Now, one thing you can do is you can buy, also from Less EMF, you can buy carrying cases that are shielded on one side but not the other. In which case, if you put the shielding towards your body, and it'll help protect your body from the EMFs when you're carrying it, but you can still get calls. The best thing to do, of course, is to put it on airplane mode, in which case the EMFs are very, very low. But this way you can actually get calls. So anyway, yeah.